Hello, everybody. Welcome to 4116 West Smiley. I'm your host, Henry Tellis, and today we are chilling with Sherrod Martin.
Hey.
NFL veteran, father, husband, and a man of many talents.
Renaissance man.
Renaissance man. So what's up, Sherrod?
How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. Thank you for bringing me to this nice shop you got.
Well, man, I appreciate you reaching out, showing love, keeping it in the family.
So where we at right now?
We're at Superb Grooming Studio in Atlanta, Georgia.
So address?
6035 Peachtree Road, C109, Atlanta, Georgia. Zip code 30360.
So that's what's up. So everybody in the Atlanta area, anybody traveling to the Atlanta area, hey, you need a cut or anything of that matter, hey, check out Sherrod while you're here. So we just want to make sure we go ahead and put that in. So Sherrod, tell me a little about yourself, man.
Small town country boy, born and raised in Griffin, Georgia. Great mom and daddy, great siblings. Man, just a young man that had a lot of goals and a lot of ambitions, and just blessed.
So what's so unique about Griffin?
What's so unique about Griffin? Well, we probably like around top 20 as far as cities that put out NFL athletes.
Okay.
We small, but we mighty.
Okay.
It's not big, but I mean it's just kind of one of them things to where you come from somewhere and you take pride in it, and you just stay locked in. It's a lot of we got like a little rich tradition. It's a lot of things that are in the process of growing with the community, getting involved, getting back in the community, and things like that. The neighborhood coming together.
So Griffin is a powerhouse when it comes to putting guys in the NFL.
Oh, for sure. Drafted, undrafted, by any means necessary.
So when you was coming up, what is one guy that you was looking up to and wanting to be like?
Ooh, that's a strong statement. When you say be like, I go to the extent of like you really, really know them. When you say someone that's going where you want to be and you know that they went through the same atmosphere that you did, walked the same halls in the classrooms and in the school and things like that. Jesse Tugler is a big name. Okay. We have a Hall of Famer, Rayfield Wright. Those are all older players.
So Griffin has a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. We got a Hall of Famer. Those are older players, but then it was guys like Jonathan Sullivan. Far as I know, he was the highest draft pick. He went first round, number 6 pick. And
that's big, 6.
Yeah, and then I seen guys like Chris Clemens. He's from the Clemens tree. His uncle Charlie Clemens from Griffin played in the NFL. He made it to the NFL. He went undrafted, and he did 10 to 12 years. So it was, it was just different. When I was in the 12th grade, when Chris was in the 12th grade, I was in the 9th. Then you had guys like myself and Bobby Rainey. When I was in the 12th grade, Bobby Rainey was in the 9th grade. And we grew up on the same side of town. I remember he was a little kid. And my last year in the NFL, I was in Chicago. He was in Temple. And he also went to Western Kentucky. Okay. And we was at Troy. So, it was
somewhat right at one point. So that's unique, man. So Griffin is that powerhouse when it comes to the NFL standpoint. So growing up, you always had guys that you always seen that you wanted to aspire to be like from an NFL standpoint. Tell me a little bit about your family structure. Tell me about your mom, your dad, and your siblings.
My dad was a disabled veteran. My mom was a business analyst. She worked in Atlanta. From Griffin, that could have been anywhere. Her job was from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. My sister graduated from Acton Scott. She's involved in like pharmaceutical sales. And my brother served in the Army, and he do so much. He's like a Renaissance man also. Okay,
so where you find yourself, how many of y'all is it sibling-wise?
I have an older brother and an older sister and another baby.
I never met your older brother. What's his name?
Corey Martin.
Yes, so I never met Corey before.
I don't know. Corey just didn't never really, travel. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But, that's family. Like my dynamic, in Troy, you probably never met my dad. And
I met your dad before.
Okay, it would have been once.
Yeah, one time.
My dad. So it's kind of like my mama going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? My dad support, you know what I'm saying? But he's supporting his own way. So when you got a greater understanding of your people, you know what I'm saying, and understanding of who they are in their comfort zone and stuff like that, I don't question a lot of things. I'm able to allow them to support me from a way of comfort and how they want to. So
it's interesting because, like I said, I never met Corey for all the years. I've always seen your sister before. I think at a couple of games, but I never seen your brother before. So that's interesting.
I don't even know if my sister came to Troy.
I think one time she may came with your mom.
Okay, well she maybe been once, but I don't think so.
So I think
I never had a photo of my sister at a college game.
Oh wow.
That I know of.
So are you the middle one or the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, you the youngest. So how far are your age range between you and Corey now?
Like 7.
Oh, so that explains a lot then.
And my sister we're like 5.
Okay, so that explains a lot then. So you the baby at the house then?
Hey, I'm the baby bit dog.
So that's what's up, man. So you find yourself. What got you into athletics though?
What got me in athletics? I think I think as a child, it's just something you do that kind of give a child an experience, right? It's the time that you kind of get some kind of structure, some kind of guidance. That's the first time you really kind of experience something tough and you kind of push through. So I think, it was just something that I naturally gravitated to that I want to be a part of.
Okay, so when you think about it, you coming up from the athletic standpoint, you being a little guy, how did it affect you at all? Because I seen some of your pics when you was younger, man, and your pads were a lot bigger than you.
Yeah, no. Everybody was, like, I consider myself the runt. You know what I'm saying? My sister like 5'10", 5'11". My mama like 5'10", 5'11". My dad like 6'3". My brother, he's like 6'3". You know what I'm saying? So, like, I always felt like I'm kind of like the runt. But as far as, like, athletic-wise, I mean, honestly, I never really thought about it. But I wasn't the best athlete where I come from. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the most talented. I wasn't, I just kind of like, you could say, put in the effort. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be great. I want to, have those teammates that count on me. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy that you want to pick and not the guy that you're like, all right, we'll take him since he's the last guy. So, like, it was just that sense of pride of like, really like, I want to hold it down.
Okay. So where it comes from, though, because you admit that you one of the best athlete and things of that matter. I mean, where does that come from then, the fact of the matter that you find yourself long term, and we'll get into, like, where you come. Like, what was instilled in you to be that guy, even though you felt like you wasn't the most talented guy and things of that matter?
I think it was something, I think it's just a want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just competing. It was fun. It was falling in love with the process. When we was at Troy, it wasn't like, hey, man, I'm doing all this. Like, I want to go to the league. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the weight room each day like, okay, this is going to get me tough to going to the league. No, I fell in love with the process. I enjoyed it. I knew the end goal, but it was just something that, like you got to put the work in. You got to do this. If you want it, this is what you got to do. But then again, too, though, it was like, it just on you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, however you perceive me as the type of teammate and the type of person, like, to me, that was just me. I didn't have to push that on you. I didn't have to project that on no one. I was just trying to be the best version of myself. And when I looked up, it was able to be good enough.
So what was your first position you played?
My first position I played running back and linebacker. I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old. My mother wouldn't let me play. We played, it was Mike. That was like 7 to 8. My mama wouldn't let me play then. So 9 years old, running back. My first 2 touches was to the house. I was like, oh, I'm nice.
Right, so your first time touching the ball, you scored?
First 2 times I scored. And then after that, like, I ain't scored no more that season.
Oh, my God. So you got that no more?
I ain't scored that more that year. But, I don't know, man. It was just so much in it, and I'll be truly honest with you. Did I know I was going to get to play in the NFL? No. If anybody else told you they know I was going to play in the NFL, they telling the story.
Got you.
Like, it was God. Whatever he had for me, it was for me, and couldn't nobody take away.
So let's go back to that play when you was 9 years old. Do you know? Can you call the play back in your head right now?
No, it was up the middle. I don't know. Like let's just say like back then, like, I want to say gaps were called like A, B, C, D. You know what I'm saying? And it was up the good, like right side, A gap.
That's what's up, man.
You know what I'm saying?
So you can recall that play right down in your head. You scored those 2 touchdowns.
Hit my head on the goalpost. Straight
That's
line.
What's up, man. So how'd that make you feel, though?
I think it felt good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anything you do, and you put work in and you put effort in, and then you get the results that you want. Oh man, that's a great feeling.
So when you begin to think about your process from 9 years old, scoring those first 2 touchdowns, you didn't score no more that season.
No more that season.
As you continue to go throughout your years of playing ball and things that matter, when did you really, really start getting that vibe? Like, man, I really can be good at this.
I never thought that I could really, really be good at this. I think the first moment that like something hit me, it was like, oh, if I'm gonna get an opportunity to go to college, it's gonna be through football. That's when I started taking football serious. I had this coach when I was in the 9th grade, and
what's his name?
Coach Wilcox.
Okay, Coach Wilcox.
Coach Wilcox, you know, muscles, dip in his mouth, spit. And Coach Qualls, rest in peace, was my basketball coach. So when you play basketball, you know, you do summer basketball. You go, you play games, you do things like that. Coach Wilcox was like, you're going to wish you was in this weight room. You're going to wish you been skilled. Like, he got a coaching job, like, somewhere else. Like, and I was like, woo. You know what I'm saying? But at the
because he was hard on you, and by him leaving, you thought you was a little release for you. Things a little hectic off you.
But in reality, he would have had me strong as an ox. Like, those things that I missed, I know could have played a big difference in my career. You know what I'm saying? So when I kind of hit like 10th grade, and I was like, oh, I need to get serious in this weight room. Like, by that time, I'm behind. So a lot of my work ethic came from I'm behind. I felt like everybody had the upper hand. I wasn't too big on creatine. I wasn't too big on like taking anything. And I was naturally small. And then, you know, it just got to the point and got in college, had surgeries, and it was like, once again, I'm behind. I'm starting from behind the 8 ball. So my work ethic ended up being overload because I'm trying to catch up on all these years that all the other guys had a head start on me.
So again, when in high school though, when did you really think you met your peak, or when you really got to that point like, man, I got an opportunity to go to college? Like, what really changed your whole mindset? Because you really talk about being an underdog. You know, that you was always behind and you was always an underdog. You always had to feel like you had to work a little harder. So I just want to get to the point of you just encouraging others or knowing, like, when did that light turn on? That maybe this could be an opportunity for me to go somewhere and use football as a alternate scenario of getting into that place besides academics.
So when it came to basketball, I lost my jump shot. Like, I used to be good in basketball, right? And then I got to the point, I'm like, dang, my jump shot ain't falling like it used to. Okay. And I mean, Coach Dvorsny, you know, he just said, look, if you're going to get a chance to go to school, I mean, he kind of told me, like, football going to be your route. It don't mean that you got to stop playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, look, you might want to, like, lock in. And I guess, like I said, man, look, you know my personality. I'm all about fun. I'm all about a good time, right? And then in those things, right, okay, I can't be irresponsible. I got to take care of business. I can't get in trouble. I got to be aware of my surroundings. And there's been some times that my surrounding could have got me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I had to be aware of my surrounding and things like that. And it was just lock in. So it's like, I knew if I wanted to go to school, I didn't care if it was D1, D2, D3, DAA. And I wanted to go to school for free because I seen my sister, you know what I'm saying, go to college. And you know what I'm saying? And I realized that, oh, you can go on student debt. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't, you know, college wasn't something that I was just too crazy about. But then I also wasn't too crazy about either, that I'm like, I can put my mama in debt and myself in debt for going. So I'm like, look, go to school for free. Yeah. Get a scholarship no matter where it was. Yeah, for sure. When I was coming out, I had Western Carolina and I had Memphis.
So who was your first offer, as they would say in today's world?
Memphis took me on a visit. Western Carolina took me on a visit.
So Memphis and Western Carolina.
Facts. Memphis brought me and my cousin up there. I was a safety. We built just to like same height, 6'2". We was probably like about 175, 170. You know what I'm saying? He was more of a track guy. They offered. We felt like if they offered us, we both was like, we're gonna go to Memphis. The DB coach at the time, don't remember his name, he was like, look, we're gonna come to your high school basketball game, and we're gonna talk to your parents after the game. Seeing him at the game. After the game, he was gone. I don't know if I had a bad basketball game or what. To this day, I don't know what happened. So at the moment, I don't know.
So Memphis come to your game, supposed to talk to your parents after that.
They was gone. We ain't even see him. I seen him at the game, but didn't talk. and then I only had Western Carolina.
Western Carolina.
Western Carolina was there, so I'm like, should I look like, you know, if I only got one, that's all I need. I don't need one to like me. Then I kind of feel like Troy came through at the last minute, got to take a visit.
Why do you think Troy came in the last minute, though? First of all, who recruited you from Troy?
Coach Dye. And I think he ended up leaving when I got there. You know what I'm saying? Coach Dye. And then when I came,
Dang, Coach Dye, man.
When I came in on my visit, the first person I seen was like Coach Logo. Coach Logo was at another college. I went to a full contact camp at Adden Scott when I was in the 10th grade, and I think I got like the defensive award, and it was a guy from Alabama, from Notasoga. I don't know his name, but he was nice. He had quick feet, everything. He got the offensive award. And I just remember him, and there was another coach. They was like, "We gonna see you again."
Wow.
And like,
so you was in 10th grade and Coach Logo said that to you?
Yeah, they was like, "We gonna see you again." That's how I felt like when I was having like a dual conversation. In my mind, when I played in my mind, it was like, "We gonna see you again." And you know, Coach Logo, don't nobody look like Coach Logo.
Nobody
like personality, like everything. So, you know, when I went on that visit, I seen him, and you know that was dope. That was dope to see some stuff come to fruition or whatever.
Yeah.
But to make that decision, both of them were.
So you had to choose between Troy and Western Carolina.
Western Carolina.
Wow.
Looking at schedules, both of them were playing D1 up and coming season. Western Carolina was going to be playing Alabama. You know, I looked at the talent that they was going up against. You know what I'm saying? Both of them was about the same amount of distance from home, even though I wasn't really worried about like just staying home like that. One was up in the mountains, and then I knew about Troy because my high school used to go to Troy. They used to kind of do like a camp or something, so I knew Troy was hot. I was familiar with Troy a little bit. It was Troy State then, and it's crazy when it came down to the decision. I think Western Carolina was up in the mountain. When I replayed in my head, Western Carolina was up in the mountain. They had like home restaurants, like local spots. Troy had at least a McDonald's.
Yeah, that's true.
I said I'm going to Troy.
That's very true. I totally understand that aspect of that. So what are some things that uniquely made you, not only from the standpoint of, you know, West Carolina being in the mountains and Troy, you know, having more fast food restaurants, what really drawed you to Troy? What really put you in a position like, man, this is a place that I want to spend my next 4 or 5 years at? Cause what class were you again? 2000.
Well, I gray shirted, so it's like I graduated 03, but I came in 04 because I got to do spring ball. So I came in the spring.
I did not know that. I think I knew that, but I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I came in the spring. What was it? Like, I mean, like I say, man, like when you think from an athletic point of view, you know, every school got a vision, right? Every school got a mission. And when I looked at Troy, right, I wanted the opportunity, to go to, we're going to call it a bitch school. As you get older, you start realizing lingo. They might say Power 5.
Yeah, SEC, that's true.
Right? You start, so in my mind growing up, you want to go to a bitch school, right? You seen guys go to UGA, Ole Miss, like you just seen it. And in my mind, you know, they always taught you, look, if you got talent, they'll find you.
Oh, for sure.
But at the same time, you still wanted them offer from them schools, and if you couldn't get those offer from them schools, and if you ever took anything personal, one thing about when you take something personal, you want some get back, or you just want to crack at it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, knowing that Troy bumping up D1, knowing they about to be in the conference,
because that would have been like a third year Division I, I'm thinking.
But we wasn't in a division then, but you knew that they was.
Oh, we was independent still.
Yes, because that was 2003. I graduated 03. So, you know what I'm saying? During that time, y'all was playing Mississippi State because Ray Reed was there that year. Yeah. Y'all was playing Mississippi State. Y'all was doing these things, but y'all haven't declared in a conference yet.
So we were still independent all those years?
And when I came in 04 to play with you and DeMarcus Ware now, that was the first year of the Sun Belt, which we went to a bowl game. The very first year of Silicon Valley.
I got you now. Okay.
That's my understanding. Okay. You know, I break stuff down. You know, I'm
just thinking in my head because I was thinking in my head like, dang, I didn't know we were independent that many years. Dang, but it's true.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm speaking some truth now.
Yeah, ain't no wrong with that. So you end up at Troy, uniquely there. What are some things that caught your attention when you first got there? Some things that were like, dang, man, or What were some things that was exciting, or some things like, man, I didn't know it was gonna be this way?
So I always tell this story. I had my guy Marcus Richardson.
Okay.
My boy Tate Head. You know what I'm saying? So the first time we had the old weight room before the new one was built.
Oh, the small weight room.
Yeah. So I come in and we're working out, and Tate Head standing over me. He like, come on, we bench. I'm weak. Now I told you I'm behind. I'm weak.
For sure.
Tate Head like, bro, come on, bro. You in college now. Like I think I had like 2 more to go, and you know what I'm saying, I got that look like, man, get this off me, you know what I'm saying, and kind of find out, I'm like, bro, you acting like a super senior, you're a freshman just like me. So like I think like that was one of the moments that it was like I didn't have any expectations, but it was just like falling in love with the process, right? Each time you go to a new team, each time you're amongst new peers, you want to earn their respect. You know what I'm saying? I want you to get ready to go to battle, and you like, that's the dude I want. Like they ain't coach. Instead of y'all can't find nobody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing my job, but I got to do his job too. But just trying to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? Not at times you think like not trying to do too much. You're just trying to play ball. You're just trying to do you. Bring who you are to the game. And I think like I said in college, like I just fell in love with the process. Right? It wasn't no ego thing. I wasn't worried about coach, I'm starting. If you tell me I'm starting, I'm coming here. Like, it wasn't none of that. Everything is earned, never given.
So even in the process, you saying you got to college, you were still trying to find your way there, or you were just going with the flow with everything?
Just go on the floor. I'm doing me. I'm working hard. I'm putting in the work, and I earn my stripes.
So what was the biggest weakness you think you had? Like, what was something that you consistent? We know that the process of your weight was always going to be an issue that you've already kind of said before, and also strength. But what are some other things you're like, man, I just had to get better at?
I mean, you start, you can never know too much. So you have to be a student of the game. You have to, you want to know the defense. You want to know the strength of your defense, but you also want to know the weakness of your defense.
True.
And then come in, you want to know what the offense want to do and how they can attack you and where you're weak at, right? So overall knowledge of the game.
So learn
you can
the game.
never,
So learn
you know
the
what I'm
game.
saying? Just so what y'all did in high school, the technique might be completely different when you get to college. And you can't be like, no, this how I do things, right? No, open up, learn that, and add that to your playbook.
So when was the first game you played in college?
The first game I played in, I don't know that one, but I can tell you how my rookie.
You don't remember your first game?
I can tell you this.
My first game, Sherrod, was against Nebraska. I got in the fourth quarter. I rode the bench first through third. I sat down that sideline and listened to all that we got killed, though. But I never forget. I was teed off. I got in, played the fourth quarter, and got lineman of the game. And everybody else was looking at me like, you get lineman of the game, coach. When I got in, I said, hey, man, y'all going to have me on this bitch. I'm going to go ahead and kill everybody I can. I'll never forget I got lineman of the game that week. And I only played most of the fourth quarter because, they put the scrubs in everybody in the fourth quarter. So my first game was against Nebraska.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had a cowboy collar on that safety because my neck was weak. My shoulder was weak. I remember playing special teams.
And that's kind of weird, man, how over the years, your shoulder pad scenario and your whole changed from year to year.
My shoulder still banged up to this day.
Oh, Lord.
But I can say this, right? I remember playing Arkansas.
Okay, that was a cold game.
Hold on. Not Arkansas Razorbacks. Let me see.
Oh.
Is it Arkansas State?
Arkansas State.
Boom.
Okay.
So I remember like mainly special teams, but from my freshman year.
We lost that game.
From my freshman year when I came in, I know I blocked the field goal that game.
That was a very close game for all the wrong reasons.
I blocked the field goal that game. So what I can tell you from my freshman year was each time coach put me out there, I capitalized on the moments.
So special teams was your big thing.
That was my first thing. Then I had one thing happen after another, right? You start letting me get in on defense. If you look at my freshman stats, each game they went up. Tackles, solo tackles, each game they went up.
So where that encouragement comes from for that to happen?
Where's that encouragement come from?
Because most young guys say, man, I'm just on special team, that's it. And we'll talk about that later because I always consistently remind guys, and I tell guys coming out now, they don't want to listen to me. I say, dude, if you're trying to use football long-term to help you long-term, stay on special teams. But that's a whole nother story we'll talk about later.
I mean, you got to trust the process. That's the biggest thing. I told you, I'm enjoying the process. I'm having fun. I'm locked in. We're going to battle. I'm zoning. Like, you know, that's something you got to talk to the coach about.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, for sure. Because I'm just bringing that up because I tell a lot of guys, and we'll talk about the league aspect earlier. We can bring it up now if you want to. I tell guys, man, if you really want to stay in the NFL for a long time, like for a long time, and really don't kill your body or beat yourself that much, or even go back to this scenario, even making a roster, is very beneficial that you're on special team.
At the end of the day, the more you can do, the better you are. You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to bring it up because so many guys, you know, once we get to that level, when we become that starter, we're like, man, I don't do special teams no more.
Well, you know, like once again, right, the best ones can learn by not experiencing. So when I look at my guy, D.A., Derek Ansley, you know what I'm saying, I learned a lot from him. So, you know, and I knew that, you know, me being light in weight would be a situation. So, you know, what I tried to do was I tried to learn corner. I tried to learn safety. You know what I'm saying? Coach Ryle coming out of the shoulder surgeries to let me play nickelback. And that full-time of nickelback was able to show me in another frame. Now, something that I paid attention to was, okay, right, I ain't playing like really 4 games. 2 of them I ain't really played that much because I was full-time nickel. The other 2, you know what I'm saying, I broke my backhand. So I was out 2 more games and had to play with a club after missing a full year of
and this
my shoulders.
This is your freshman or sophomore?
No. This was my junior year.
Okay, yeah, okay, I remember that.
My junior year. So what ends up happening is I end up coming back. I end up having like 6 forced fumbles, and the defensive stats change. So in that sense, I think what helped me.
Did y'all change coordinators? Y'all had to ride the whole time you were there?
I don't really remember. My mind bad. Probably Coach Rod, Ricky, freshman year, we had Coach Vic.
Okay, yeah.
And then he left.
Okay. So when it comes to it, what really began to transition going into your junior year, senior year? You had a lot of injuries, more injuries than most people can ever think of having. When you think about the fact of that many injuries within a couple years, man, like what was going through your head having all those injuries? That many injuries at that.
I mean, shoot, shake back.
Come on, Sherrod.
I'm already behind, so I got to do my therapy. I got to do my rehab. I know Chuck Ash by first name. I call Princess Diana, another head trainer. All the trainers end up knowing me. The training room ended up being my second home. The training room ended up being my first home after the injuries. The weight room ended up being my second home.
So that didn't impact you at all from a mental standpoint? Because you look at it from a standpoint now, you look at how people have injuries now and how they look at them compared to when we was coming up and how injuries were dealt with. I always like to bring that up because how we was coming up when they dealt with injuries, we were totally looked down upon, or you in the training room all the time, you know, that ain't good, blah, blah, blah. Compared to today's world, injuries are more kind of supported, like, hey, man, heal on your own time, things that matter. So I'm asking that question, like, how did that impact you from a mental health standpoint and just your thinking? Because when you are playing and you are in that situation where you're doing well, then you start having all these injuries, that impacts you.
At the end of the day, I mean, you was taught to play hurt. You either can go or you can't go.
True.
Nobody play the game 100%.
True.
I think what I talked to a young man about the other day is right now what kids have to understand is, yeah, you want to give yourself a chance to be healthy. You don't have to push through them like that and still be injured. You can get yourself closer to 100%. At the end of the day, with everything that we talking about, as far as what school you choose, how you're coming off an injury, whether you're hurt, or you can go or you can't, and any decision that being made after that, you're trying to figure out in the situation when to be selfish and when to be selfless. And at the end of the day, that comes to the person, right? You can see a lot of selfish people that you be like, they need to think about others. But the ones that hit hardest to me, the lesson that I learned is when you're selfless and you think about others than yourself, there come a time when you need to be selfish. And that'll be the hardest decision for you to make because you'll feel guilty for the reason why you got to make it.
So out of every injury, you rebound after that, you go into your senior season. How does that really change things from a standpoint when it comes to you, like going into your senior year?
I mean, sure. For all the older guys that I seen, you got to stay healthy. You got to be able to pass the physical when it gets to the next level. In order to go to the Senior Bowl, I can't get hurt. In order to go to the Senior Bowl, I got to play corner. I can't play safety.
So going from being that underdog to going into your senior year, what vibes are you feeling about yourself? Like how confident are you? Like
I'm still behind the 8 ball. Like you don't know. Like you don't know. You only good as your last game.
So how did you feel though, going into your season, knowing that you had all these opportunities ahead of you, which you never thought that you would probably have?
I didn't know.
So you never thought that none of these
I went off the same thing that I had as a little kid. I seen people make it from where I'm from. Either you get kicked out of school within 2 years for doing something dumb and stupid, or grades, or you go to the league. That was what it was where I'm from. Didn't nobody teach me that. That was my own thought process. Yeah. So in that process, I made it past 2 years. I didn't get kicked out of my grades or doing something dumb.
True.
I got the opportunity to go to the league. I ain't got no preseason this. You projected draft pick this. No.
So how did all that come about then? What you got invited to the Senior Bowl, which is a very big thing. Congratulations on that, because most people from Troy, I don't think I can remember in my head probably 5 guys that went to the Senior Bowl over my years of being at Troy during that time period anyway. So congratulations on doing that. When you got to that opportunity, the season's over with. Did y'all go to a bowl game that year?
We did.
Which one of y'all go to?
New Orleans Bowl. That was like second home. We stayed in New Orleans.
I can't stand New Orleans.
We stayed on Bourbon.
For sure.
Hey, I brought my personality down there too. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to say that. So how do you stay focused knowing that you're going to have these opportunities though? You're successful in that aspect. Things are changing for you. You still rebounding. You still trying to keep yourself healthy. You get an opportunity to play in the Senior Bowl. How did that practice go for you that week of that opportunity to compete against supposedly the best guys in the country?
It was the worst ever. But you know what?
Why you say it's the worst?
I was going into a new position that I had no experience in.
What position?
I had to play corner.
Oh.
That was the only way I could have got in. I wasn't going to turn it down.
Oh, I did not know that.
You know what? My son came to me yesterday. He went to his first football camp. He said I was terrible. I hate it. But I told him the same thing that a scout told me. Like, look, it's not what everybody else do. It's all about effort. Effort, you can't coach that. I promise him by Friday he's going to be a whole lot better than he was on Monday. And it's just a 1 week camp, and I haven't introduced him to football or nothing at all. And that's what it was at Senior Bowl. When I was with them scouts and they was talking to me, first thing he was like, we're not having to tell you the same thing twice.
Oh, wow.
So therefore, I'm a quick learner. I'm able to articulate what I'm learning in the classroom, on the football field, and then outside of that, it was like each day I was getting better. So it was about how like I was responding to things and competing.
So you had this opportunity where you were in a whole new position and the biggest interview of your life. How do you do? How'd that week go for you? How'd the game go for you?
I got better each day. In the game, I held it down. I didn't give up no big plays. I fundamental sound. Made my tackles.
Okay, so you after you leave Senior Bowl, where do you go?
You get invited to the combine.
So you go to the combine. How was that experience?
Man, sure.
First of all, where you did your training at before you did the combine? Where you did your training?
I stayed in Atlanta. Tony Villani, SPE, when he was here. Then he left, and then I started getting down with my girl Lily, DSA training.
Man, time flies by. I remember those days you were doing
Facts. But at the combine, my coach, he was Coach Carl, rest in peace. He said you got to be lucky, humble, and disciplined. You know what I'm saying? What I took from the lucky, it was about timing. What I took from the humbleness, like you just got to be humble, locked in. You know what I'm saying? That humility, and and the discipline part. You know what I'm saying? It's the process. You got to trust the process. The things you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying, to get there. And it worked out. If I get drafted a year earlier or a year later, I don't go to the same spot I got drafted in.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how much a difference can make.
Okay, so you find yourself going to the Senior Bowl. You find yourself going to the combine. So tell me how draft day go.
Sure. Draft day, back then they was doing first and second round. In my mind, I'm just like, I want to go first day. Only thing my agent told.
So what was the projection, though?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but let's just say like it was 4th or 5th.
Okay.
Only thing my agent told me, the more DBs come off the board, the better you are.
Oh, wow. Why?
Because if DBs get drafted late, then everybody that got ranked in front of me, everybody get pushed back.
Oh.
The more DBs they taking off the board, I get closer to getting picked. You get closer to getting picked. Me. I haven't met the people you got rated above me.
Okay.
So if they start taking linemen in the 3rd round, and you the number 1 lineman, and you was projected 1st round, you go 3rd.
Yeah,
so if you was the 3rd round projected, sure, you on the back end.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, okay. You know what I'm saying? So, that day was at a homie house at a cookout. 1st round started. I let my homie use my car to go see a young lady. You know what I'm saying? And I'm over there chilling. I'm like, man, 1st round going, I'm getting nervous. I'm like, man, take me home. Young lady take me home. I'm sitting in the driveway. I said, look, man, I need to go in the house. You know what I'm saying? I need to be around my family. I need to feel some love. Walk in the house, Carolina Panthers on the clock. You know what I'm saying? My daddy at the table doing numbers, working on his lottery. My mama walking around the house, talking on the phone, just kind of picking up a little bit.
Is this day one?
Yeah, day one, because it's on the first and second round. And as they say, soft pedaling. My mama soft pedaling around the house. Next thing you know, I walk in the house, you know, look at my clock, second round, 7:04 come up, I answer the phone. They say, hey, with the Carolina Panthers, you know, we think about taking you off the board. You ready?
Oh, wow.
I said, shit, I've been ready. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, everything took off in history since then.
So you go to the Carolina Panthers.
When you're getting drafted, and, you know, it's just a dope vibe. You know, you finally get to put on the NFL jersey, put on the NFL helmet. You know, you getting to see what that vibe, right? You know, a lot that I learned is just how an organization is ran, the professionalism, the security, the, you know what I'm saying, you're protected. Like, you just can't get here. Not saying that, you know, we didn't get that from Troy University. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, you know what I'm saying, those great coaches we had there, and they played a major factor in a lot of things that I was doing going forward. But then you start seeing it as a NFL standpoint, it's completely different.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, once you start getting compensated, once you start getting paid, once you start getting a check, it's almost like, okay, I'm my own LLC. And I'm operating up on another LLC. Yeah, for sure. Before you get to that point, you only can see things from a student point of view. You can only see things from a student athlete. So when you take that perspective, now I can look at college. Now I can look at high school completely different. But when you're in the NFL, it's like, okay, it's Sherrod Martin LLC and Sherrod Martin, like, okay, this is a business. And I think the NFL has definitely taught me that.
So did you get drafted as a corner or a safety?
They drafted me as a corner. Okay. But, you know, that whole time selling myself, hey, I can do both. You know what I'm saying? Getting there, understanding and realizing, like, oh, it's different. Playing corner is completely different from safety. The issue is, if you're going to move somebody to a new position, you know what I'm saying, you expect somebody to have the patience for you to gain the knowledge and to grow in it. For sure. And they don't. And in that sense, I think that is bad management. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to draft somebody, and my outlook is, if you're going to draft somebody and you know what they do in their strong suit, if it don't fit into your scheme, then you drafted the wrong player for that scheme. But if you draft the player and you let him do what he do, you know what I'm saying, then you know you're going to get the most out of that player. Now, I said it earlier, the more you can do, the better you are. For sure. So if you're going to add on some of these additional things onto me, okay, no worries. But you know, I can't expect my baby to run before my baby learn how to crawl and walk. Like, it don't make sense. It is a process. As a professional, everything don't dissect like that, right? Now, everything is expected for you to do your job and beyond that. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Now, that don't mean that I'm not working hard. You see the effort going in. You see the what you call it. So, you know, at times, you know, you just got to lock in and create that balance.
So what was that adjustment, though, to you? Like, do you find yourself being stuck at corner, or do they eventually move you to safety?
They eventually end up moving me in safety. So what ends up happening is I played my first 2 preseason games at corner. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Different. 3rd preseason game, I was supposed to play safety, but I had like a knee bruise. But in practice, when they moved me to safety, everything looked more natural. I dropped down in the box. I dropped down in my zone. I get a pick. They like, oh, like, you like what you call it? So it was like I told the dude, right? One of my best guys in my draft class, right? My guy, we was in the same DB room, Captain Mudley. He was drafted 7th round. I was drafted 2nd round, right? The coach at the time, right? He used to get real disrespectful. He used to be like, man, we should have took you in the 2nd round, right? Oh, wow. In the DB room, but like, I never really was taught to like question or like say something, right? I just know on the inside. So
I just want to bring that up though, because a lot of guys don't realize when you're in college, a coach say something to you, like brush it up, or you keep it moving. You don't get caught up in your feelings. Now, when I got to the NFL, I was shocked the communication between players and coaches. And when you said what you just said right then and there, how did you feel the first time that you seen a player go back at a coach like, we on the same level, we both adults, you not fit, blah, blah, blah?
I mean, everybody that we seen it happen with in the past, that never work out good. Every time a young athlete got into it with a coach, I seen a coach tell him, you walk out this field, you'll never play again.
True.
And not saying what he was fighting for was wrong, but you just don't have that much say so. I cussed the coach out when I was young in basketball, right? We was AAU basketball, and he gave us, this is the first time our parents didn't go with us. They would treat us like we was older. We were cussing all the way up there. Well, it came a time in the game, and I missed the layup. And my coach was messing with me. He was like, man, you would have made that layup. You would have broke their back. Right? And I'm like, okay. He kept going to it. And I was like.
So he kept putting more salt on the
game that went on. We talked to have a short-term memory. All right, bounce back. Like, what you call it? So he kept going on. And, bro, like, I'm at the bottom of the bench. I ain't even said lie. But I was like, man, fuck you. And he read my lips. He was like, fuck me. And it was... I knew how my mama raised me. I knew how I was brought up. That's why I felt bad. That's why I felt guilty, because I know my mama ain't raised me like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, bro, you can let that go. It probably different ways I could have went about it, but that was my response. So in that moment that I was in the NFL coaching room, that was my thought process, right? You know what I'm saying? That was my thought process of don't cuss him out, right? Don't go there, right?
True.
Composure. We talk composure. They don't catch the first guy, they catch the second guy, right?
True.
At the end of the day, it's gonna be his word against mine. So what ends up happening was, all right, coaches got different kind of coaching strategies, right? And at all times, you don't know that the angle that they trying to come at you about. You know what I'm saying? And some of them don't have the intelligence to know what kind of guy they dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So with that,
or even the background of be relating to the player as a person sometimes.
Okay, so boom. Between that situation, when he said that about me and Cap, I told my dude, I said, look, I know what I can do. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, bro, you out there killing it. And he was. He's an undersized dude coming out of South Carolina early. He doing this thing. He was expected to be a high draft pick and then go. But like that respect and bond between me and him, because I was like, bro, I know what I can do. You do what you do. I ain't hate on him one time. I ain't have to. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, mine came my way. So even when I went to safety, he was like, boy, you look like a natural out there. I'm like, that's what I played. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. At one point, I'm like, hey, look, that's what I can do. This what you see me at. I'm a tweener. At the same time, just understand, you got tape. It ain't much film on me at corner
anyway.
You know what I'm saying? So have the patience. If you gonna move me there, you know what I'm saying? At least give me a full year. You don't give me no training camp in a one off season to get it.
Yeah.
I just got drafted.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even know what my shoes fit like. My shoes borderline too little. They tight on my feet. I don't even know what my swag like.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just one of them things that, you know what, just trusting the process. You asked me something earlier, you're like, what was it? It's just a trust the process. You know what I'm saying? And just grind and enjoy it. I ain't never had to hate on nobody, and I wasn't finna start then. So it was time I used to talk to the team chaplain, and I was like, Big Bunk, he trying me. You know what I'm saying? And then I had a guy that tell me this. He was like, bro, at the end of the day, it's almost like the Weezy thing. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. It came a time I got my first time to start as a rookie. I had 3 picks. I had 3 picks in 3 games.
That's what's
he
up.
said, look, he can be at the table. He can talk bad about you all he want. Everybody else at the table gonna look at him like I'm crazy because you got the stats. So at the end of the day, it's like this. A coach can hate on me all they want. Long as I'm putting up the numbers, you know what I'm saying? Shoot. The numbers what matter. It don't matter his personal preference or I'd rather have this athlete, I'd rather have that. If I'm putting up the numbers, he can't hate on me. If I'm putting up the numbers, I'm gonna have a coaching job. It just might not be with him. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't have to attack him in the moment or like whatever, but you know, it was something there. And it came a time he went to another team. I'm at midfield. I'm like, well, I'm finna cuss him out. Like, he ain't my coach. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like I did come off a bad year that time that I seen him, and he was like, hey man, keep doing your thing, you're gonna be all right. And it shocked me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I ain't really know how to take it, you know, and it was just like those years went by, and at the end of the day, it's like this. What I realize is the reason why you don't want to burn bridges because you just never know what comes back around. Because usually, you know what I'm saying, somebody else have to vouch for you and something. So I don't have to cuss him out. I didn't have to attack him. I didn't have to. I could have let him do what he did. Long as I got the stats, it come a time, it's somebody like, look, we could use this guy. He got these kind of stats. He got the experience. And then it versus, and sometimes they gonna go with what they want because that's their personal preference. But it has nothing to do with me.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And I tell guys all the time, because that's a great thing that you're sharing, because in today's world, so many players get so emotional. They get so caught up in the moment and they respond to that standpoint. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but you remember the year we beat Mississippi State? Big game. Man, I had a great week of practice that week. Did not play one down that game. One of the biggest wins probably in Troy history at that standpoint. So I go back to my room. I'm hot. I'm like, man, bus ride back. I didn't play at all. Yeah, we won this big game. This big. I said, man, next time I see Coach, I'm going to cuss him out. I'm just going to go off on him. Totally against my character. What I said, man, he got to feel this because I worked my butt up. I know I'm better than the guy who started me. Things that matter.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, man, I was in my room hot. I was in Deal Hall hot, like pissed. And I never forget God told me, don't you say nothing. Don't you say nothing. And I was like, man, I ain't got time to hear from you. He going to hear from me.
Yeah.
I never forget walking into the field house. Coach runs up to me, Sherrod, true story, runs up to me and said, hey, man, I haven't slept the whole night. I just want you to know I apologize for you not playing. You should have started. You should have played more. You one of our best young linemen, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there paused and shocked that this is the encounter that he's had with me. So that's a match I would have went on my one accord and just going at him. It could have been a whole different story.
No, fact.
So I just want to share both our stories with that for a lot of guys out there who are listening, man.
Well, this the other thing about that, though. This the flip side. We always speak from a standpoint of when somebody balling. We always speaking from a standpoint when somebody playing good. Well, I had a moment when I wasn't playing good. You know what I'm saying? I had a moment where, you know what I'm saying, I had to own up to the mistakes that I was making on the field. Even if I hated going in film and seeing myself on tape. But I had to own up to it. And the thing about it was, right, you put in so much effort, you put in so much work that you want the results that comes with that. But it's not a guarantee that you're going to play good. You know what I'm saying? You could have your worst game ever. At the end of the day, you got to be able to handle constructive criticism. You got to be able to self-check yourself. So at the end of the day, if somebody's saying something bad about me and I'm playing bad, I can't do nothing but own it. Go back in the lab and get to it. Now, I did have another situation with another coach, and it got to the point where I was playing bad. And at the end of the day,
and it was in the pros or college?
This was in the pros. And at the end of the day, I had to own it. So at that moment, you're right. I'm playing the worst football that I ever played, even in the Pee Wee League football, even since Pee Wee League, right? But at the same time, though, what I did stand up for myself was it became a moment. And it was a moment where we was in team meeting and he was speaking to everybody. And I wasn't looking at him, but I was listening. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm getting into this stage of right, like some athletes won't work out, but they still be good. True. Right? Some athletes, like, and each thing is for them, right? You're say that if you're the good guy, if you do this, everything works out. That's not always the case. Just like they say, if you're the bad guy, okay, well, is everything so bad for the bad guy? Why do sometimes it works out? You know what I'm saying? So you never know how somebody's situation going to go, and that situation is catered to them. Only thing you can do is take things and use to the best knowledge, because some people, I might not get as many chances as you get if I do the same thing that you do, right? So it came a time that the coach came, and I wasn't playing good. And, you know what I'm saying, I can own it. And at the end of the day, he was talking to us in team meeting, and he's talking, and I'm not looking at him, but I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. So, you know, he pulled me to the side. He was like, no, I approached him first. I was like, well, you talking to me when you talking about players not looking at you or something, like when you talking da-da-da? He was like, oh, did you feel like you was one of them players? I was like, yeah, I was. I was like, I wasn't looking at you, but I was listening. I can tell you everything that you said, whatever, like, what, right? So then he ended up bringing up something, and he was like, what you doing in your spare time? And I was like, look, at the end of the day, I ain't gonna let you question my work ethic, because I know I work hard. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not getting the results from my extra effort that I'm putting in, extra things that I'm doing on the field, extra, like, what you call it? Like, okay, boom. But my work ethic, say I ain't good. Say you ain't cutting. Say you gonna cut me and give me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. That's the result of it's based off production. If you ain't producing, you gonna be gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Say is that. But what I didn't want to let him do is question my work ethic, because in that sense, I know I was putting my all into it. I just wasn't getting the result. True. So just because sometimes, like, okay, you work hard and you think you're going to get to go to the league, et cetera, like that, look, sometimes it's God timing. Just because you put the effort in, you know what I'm saying, that don't mean like it just pans out. Some people do nothing and they graduate and they, you know what I'm saying, all of the above. So it was just something that we always speak on when guys ain't getting playing time and they playing good and they're the best one. But sometimes when you ain't playing good, when you ain't catching all the balls, when you're missing tackles, you know what I'm saying, you got to be able to own that with you.
And I think one thing great about the conversation that we're having about this standpoint is that, again, a lot of guys get caught in their feelings and then they don't look within themselves. But also, I think a lot of times guys don't look at life is all about seasons and time periods too. You know, you may be going through something right now, and maybe 10, 15 years down the line, you'll encounter that same thing, but you'll be able to overcome it because you've been through it in that standpoint in life.
No, facts.
So I always
Facts.
encourage people, man, when you go through those scenarios, you need to look at yourself and see, dang, am I really not putting the time in? Am I really not what they saying I am, or I am what they saying I am?
Or sometimes you just ain't cutting it.
Yeah.
Either you getting it done or you ain't cutting it.
So vice versa, you got to realize, like, man, how can this moment right now help me 5, 10 years down the line? Because we don't really think that much. So a lot of times when we hear these kind of stories about athletes that are getting caught up in their feelings, as I say, or get caught up in their emotion at the standpoint of what's going on, man, you're going to still have these issues throughout life. Even when you walk away from football, you're still going to have those encounters where things not going to go your way. People going to be coming at you and things that matter, but it's all about how you respond. And I think the number one thing that I think that you said, that you didn't say in direct these words, is all about how you respond to yourself and how you think about yourself in that moment. Because a lot of times we allow what people say to dictate how we feel about ourselves without having to come to this and knowing, like you said, man, I've been putting the time in. So you can't sit up and try to attack my character when it comes to my work ethic.
Man, look, everything my mama want for me is external. Until I internally want it for myself, I ain't going to get it.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True, so that's very interesting. So you find yourself at Carolina Panthers. Where you find yourself after that?
Tore my ACL contract. Missed the full season. Get an opportunity to sign with Jacksonville 2014 and 15. Chicago Bears.
Okay, so injuries still coming at you still. So again, how you responded to that on that level when you get an injury? Because in high school, then you have college, you have injuries. Now you find yourself in the pros with injuries. So again, I'm gonna ask about that mental standpoint. What do you think? Because I know you said in the past
this mental, I was checked out. This mental was tough. The reason why I tore my MCL and I tore my ACL, the same recovery that you do for an ACL, I had to do for an MCL. So my MCL, I had to keep it straight for a month. Dang. And then I had to get my range of motion to be able to have surgery. And then this was the first time I hit a wall. Okay. When you hit a wall in playing sports, like, you flustered. Like, I remember one time, me and the trainer got into it. And he was like, I was sitting on a bike and I had to be able to just go in a full motion to get a range of motion. And he was like, you know how sometimes somebody put in a position just to motivate, but I did not want to hear that shit that day. And he was like, look, he was like, you gotta have heart. You gotta have heart. I like, man, fuck that. I'm tired of having heart. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of having heart. Knowing that in March my contract gonna expire, and if I get on this campus again, that's trespassing. Like, I'm not even gonna be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm on my own. It ain't like I'm still on a contract and I'm coming in. I still be with the team. Like, nah, I'm going in civilian mode. So, but he said one of the realest things. He said, until you keep your butt down and you get your range of motion, you know what I'm saying, you can't have surgery. And if you don't have surgery, you can't get back on the field. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And honestly, that was the last time I talked to him, like, for real, because one of the other trainers, that was more my guy. You know what I'm saying? That was more my hands-on person. So sometimes you end up gravitating to people like But I just had to lock in, man, and taking that moment, once again, you land on your back. I was moving fast. Life just slowed down. And you know what I'm saying? It's when you on your back and you can't move, you got a lot of time to think. And you know what I'm saying? And it just slowed things down for me. And I didn't know if I was gonna play ball again. I ain't know nothing, and it kind of got me back in that. Okay, so what's next? What you call it? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be here. I should have kept that condo up there. It would be worth a lot now. I was like, I'm going to Atlanta. That's where most of my plugs at, most of my connections. I was like, I just got to get away from here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Jacksonville was a real, real hard time for you.
Well, I came to Atlanta because I missed the full year. Oh. And then at the tail end of that, I was doing workouts. Ain't nobody gonna sign you hurt. Right? I was having a knee brace. It felt like I was dragging a baby on my leg. And I was times I was doing 2 workouts a week, and I was getting the same thing. And I was like, man, I wasn't keeping no gear. Usually people give you gear, you be hanging on to it. Psh, I ain't keeping no gear from the workout. I'm God doing, all right, but. And then, I had a conversation towards the end of that year. It's like, look, you can sign with the Bears right now, or you can sign with Jacksonville on a future deal. The Bears had 2 games left in the season. They had the opportunity to make the playoffs. Jacksonville at the time was giving me, it seemed like a better deal, which ended up kind of reflecting the same. And I just, based on that, what I had, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the Jacksonville situation. And, so signed. And then I went early. I went back early because, it's hard for people to get to know you when there's 90 guys in there at the same time.
For sure. Especially that short amount of time,
still in that off season, I went there, so they seen my work ethic. They seen me around the building. Got in real good with the strength coach, Milo. You know what I'm saying? Milo, and this is where it comes from with connections. This is where it comes from relationship, your blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Your personality, who you are, people getting to know you. Because I had a guy that was trying to get the internship. And I reached out to Milo, and I didn't know if he was gonna get it. He didn't get it, but the fact that Milo was like, you know what, I take a look at it just off the strength of if you speaking on his behalf, I know he A1 as a person.
For sure.
And that's kind of one of the biggest things, right? Why you don't curse people out, why you don't disrespect people when they in certain areas or they job tight at the time. You be trying to impress people that sometimes don't even matter in a few years, because where I was in the position in 2015 in Chicago, and that guy that just is holding the clipboard, man, he the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The player director that was in Chicago, he assistant GM of the Las Vegas Raiders right now.
Wow.
My college roommate, you know what I'm saying, Derek Angley. He the defensive coordinators of the Chargers right now. And you're not knowing what their relationship like. The kind of person, my character, I ain't talking about kiss tail, just be you, authentic. So people know who they, dealing with and stuff.
And I think more than anything, again, relationships are very important. I think we overlook that in today's world, because a lot of times people get so caught up in themselves that they don't realize, hey, man, you never know that long term of how those things may go. So relationships are very important. I just want to remind everybody out there, because a lot of times in our world, we think man, this dude may be here tomorrow. He may be gone. Whatever. I ain't got to worry about this thing that matter. But people remember you based off of your relationship with them.
Hey, man, they say all the time, man, the dude that you bullying might be the dude you need a job for one day. You better be careful how you treat people, or understand the energy you put out, you're going to get back.
Yeah, for sure. So that's very interesting that you said that all those people that at one point you came across are now in bigger places and different things. And I think a lot of times we don't realize too, man, that people really genuinely honor relationships that are real and those that are not fake also. So a lot of times we think about that too. A lot of times relationships have to be genuine and not fake.
And I will say this, look, if you got a lot going on right now, nobody's perfect, because at the end of the day, sometimes it's good for people to see your growth. Sometimes those people be like, you know what, but back then you was on that foolishness. But I done seen enough of you right now that I know that you're not that same person. You know what I'm saying? And you done, matured into a better version of yourself, and still can take you a long way.
Hey, so you find yourself in the NFL, you find yourself at that ending point. When did you really get a realization man, I think my time really finna run out? When did that really start coming across your mind, though?
When I tore my ACL and I wasn't on contract and not knowing if I was going to get signed again, during that time, I was basically training, trying to get healthy. It was just ain't a guarantee that I'm going to get to play again. So that just kind of got me thinking, got the ball rolling. My now wife, I met when we was friends. She had a lot of big influence on me. She is a very ambitious woman, Miss LaShonda Martin. She be grinding. You know what I'm saying? I seen her build a fitness line from scratch. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the same old thing, right? They say the people you kind of surround yourself with, etc. You know what I'm saying, kind of can rub off on you and kind of have some influence. And she definitely had influence. So it just got my ball rolling okay, if I don't play ball again, what I'm going to do?
So you say you find yourself there, and you say your girlfriend at the time began to influence you. What are some ways she influenced you and began to thinking about that after career aspect of when football is over with?
I don't even think it was football was over with. I think that's what that time that I realized all right, all the older vets like if they're 8 years plus, they start doing these things on the side, prepping for other moments, right? So basically, you find yourself being a student athlete again. You find yourself creating balance, right? You find yourself like, okay, I'm playing ball, but in these times, let me get these certifications and all these things to where when guys retire from football and they get a job right away, most people don't see the work they put in, because back in the day you couldn't show it.
Yeah,
you couldn't show like, oh, I'm putting this extra work in, I'm doing the broadcasting, the boot camp, boom, boom, boom. You just think, oh, you just go straight to TV because you're a good athlete. Like, nah, these dudes be putting in work. They just didn't show it. They just didn't let anybody know, but they was getting their credentials up. So that was something that I just realized at that standpoint. Even though I wasn't near 8 years and I wasn't like around that long, it still hit me like, all right, this the time in my career that I need to create balance. I can still enjoy myself in the off season, but I need to probably get in barber school and start getting some hours towards my barber license and stuff like that. So you find yourself as a student athlete in high school, student athlete in college, and the ones that really, really maximize, they find their way to balance again.
So you find yourself in barbering school. Tell me how that experience was being an NFL guy and you're in barber school with just everyday people. How did that go about? How did that?
Well, for one, you know, I came in with a mindset like I ain't got that kind of time like everybody else got. So I couldn't like really like I ain't have time to jack off. So I knew like coming in like I need to be locked in. I need to be laser focused. Like I need to get this, and that's how I came in. Didn't nobody know I played ball.
Oh, cool.
While I was in school.
So you was just a typical normal dude.
Man, I'm locked in. I'm trying to do the book work so I can get on the floor. I need to get on the floor and get these cuts. You know what I'm saying? So I can basically graduate. You know, and you know that was cool. And then, but there came a time I talked to the person at the school. I was like, look, if I do come in, if I do start, if I get an opportunity to continue to go play ball with my time, like stop and be able to pick right back up when I'm done. And he was like, yeah. So that was like perfect.
So you seen yourself, how did you get the vision for where we at today? Like, how did that all come together? Because, you cut my hair when we was in college and things that matter. You always cut hair on the side of things that matter. And we didn't even go to that fact of it. Who's the first person to put the clippers in your hand to put that mindset of you that you can be a barber, even when you wasn't a officially licensed barber?
Dudes in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Dudes in the neighborhood, like around my age, was cutting. One homeboy, he was cutting people. Then another one got it. And I used to do art growing up, so it kind of grew on me. Then I got into this stage and this thing of it's like, oh man, a lot of people still think about like what they want to do, right? I had a business degree. I had a degree, but you don't intern. I had no work experience. So therefore, like, who's going to give me a job? You know what I'm saying? I've been playing football all my life. So it got to the point I'm like, all right, look, whatever I'm going to get into, everything that I enjoy, even to this day, when you look at me, if I host a Madden tournament, if I'm doing anything with barbering, all this stuff been a part of me ever since my childhood. So I just been trying to maximize things that I enjoy, right? I don't draw like I used to, but hair became my art. I used to love to play video games. I had kids. I started paying bills. I started like whatchamacallit. But then that was a part of me that I'm like, dang, like I remember the old commercial Toys Us kid. I don't want to grow up, right? Yeah. And I want to be a kid. Like I was missing that part of me. So I started like, you know, finding a way. Like, okay, boom, right? I want to be able to prioritize and take care of my business, but at the same time, in some spare time, I want to be able to get some gaming in. So I just find ways to do things that I enjoy within the balance of what I already had going on. Then I find out ways of how to monetize it.
So how did you begin to get the vision though for your shop though? Like the whole vision, the whole mindset, how you wanted things to look, and put it all into one of being who you are, but also having a shop that reflects who you are also. I
think once I got into the process, of I researched, I cut out magazines. I did all these things, what I would look like. The magazine that I cut out and what it looked like now, completely different. But it was fun. And once again, like, right, the company you keep. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she helped me. I seen her doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think at the end of the day I'm a big vision board person, but at the end of the day, it's different for everybody, right? I knew I wanted to have a shop. The same thing that's going on now that I want to do 6 years ago, I was in my basement talking about it. I'm still dreaming as if I still want to make it to the NFL. I still got goals. I still ain't got ambition. So therefore, like, it was still driving. So in the sense of feeling like I haven't arrived gives you that push through to just, you know, you just want to figure things out. And then you find your way, you find yourself in a way that people say it has to be this way. And then until you you might test a theory and you be like, well, it can work this way too. Like it's more than one way to skin a cat. So a lot of this stuff I do is hopefully it comes off authentic because it's just a reflection of who I am and I ain't faking it. So
that makes real common sense because, like I say, when you come into the shop, like I've been here today, you see the family vibe, you see the personalities, you see the different conversations that are happening in the places we've been here today.
In a short period of time.
Yeah,
and people that even know of you come in contact with you and could have just been during the time that they were here. And it's just, you just hit it off.
So it's cool because I always ask that question, when you think about the aspect of the vision standpoint, of us seeing the shop now and you having that vision of where it's at. Do you see yourself going beyond this, or this right here is just where you want to be, or what's your long-term vision of what you're doing right now when it comes to the shop?
I'm the kind of person that right now in my life, I want to maximize what I got. You know what I'm saying?
Which is always big because you don't never become, what they call it, not maximizing your potential. You're just going through the motions with everything. You don't want to go to a point where you're going beyond what you can do.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want to maximize what it is. Now, at the end of the day, I can have a vision, and what's for me is gonna be 10 times more than that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be something that I can't even imagine. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta trust the process. It comes back to the thing, enjoying what you do. At the end of the day, it's hard work. Everything is hard work at the end of the day. But when you enjoy it, when the days get hard, that helps you push through. Then versus when you hate it and then it gets hard, then you like, oh man, bump this. But when you enjoy it and you realize at times it's still gonna get tough and hard, just as you hate it, you know what I'm saying? And the things that you don't want to do, you got to do to be able to get there and push yourself through different limitations and things, challenge yourself. And as long as you continue to dream and have goals and have a vision for yourself, I think it can work.
So when you think about being an entrepreneur in the barbering world and the grooming world and things that matter, what has been one of the most rewarding things for you when it comes to being an entrepreneur, but also being in this setting when it comes to hiring people, things that matter? What are some things that you have learned through this process that have really changed people's lives?
I think at the end of the day, being true to who I am, I mentioned earlier, the energy you put out is the energy you get back, right? At the end of the day, I don't feel like I'm faking who I am. I think, you know what I'm saying, the person you see on social media is the person that you kind of get when you come in, right? I can't give you everything, but what I can give you, you know what I'm saying, you like, okay, everything's add up and it's comfort. I think that authenticness, it can't be implicated, right? At the end of the day, it's a tribe out there for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I think like it's been a great situation that basically I have a instructor in college, Miss Reed. She said, eagles fly high. You know what I'm saying? It's basically great energy gravitate towards each other. And I think that's just what been happening from people. I don't have to be an a-hole. I think for some people it end up working being here, and then for some it don't. Like, they got to find their environment, etc. And then sometimes when people leave, it ain't like it's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? I done had people leave and went on and open up their own places, open up their own barbershop, did their own suite. And that made me feel just as good, right?
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the day, I mean, it took a collective effort to make this atmosphere. It ain't no one person thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we want to talk about today with Sherrod Martin. Hey man, explain the thing about being an athlete, going from being an athlete, playing pro ball, being an entrepreneur, but explain to people, man, how being a father has, most of all, been a husband first, and being a father has dramatically changed your life.
How did it dramatically change my life?
Because you being think about it, you played college ball, you played pro ball.
Okay.
But both of us know by being a part of families and being part of, being husbands and having children, things that matter. Which one would you say has really changed you as a person more? Football or being a husband and being a father?
I'm gonna put it this way. I done put more time in with football.
Okay.
I have been an athlete longer than I have been a husband and a father.
Okay.
At the same time, see, I've been battling this thing in my life that people be talking about, like growth and change.
True.
Change is, usually when, like, you knew me when I was younger. True. Right? You knew me when I first came into college.
True.
And the guy that you know now, like you can say I changed, but deep down you're more likely to probably say I grow. I done had some growth in my eyes, because change is a completely person that you don't even recognize.
Very true.
I don't feel like as a husband or a father I completely changed who I am. I would say because I like who I am. Not saying that I'm where I want to be, but when I look into the mirror, it's not like, you know, like I don't like you and I want to change you. I like you, but I just want to enhance you. I want to continue to build on you. I always wanted to be a daddy.
Why?
I just always want to be a father.
Because you already know in our world about being athletes, especially playing pro ball, daddies are not looked upon as being great examples of manhood. You know, just from the world we are from being athletes.
But
for you to say you always want to be a dad, that's a blessing, though. That's a cool thing to hear, because you don't really hear that from a lot of people in our profession, though. When you think about, you know how it is being in locker rooms and being around guys.
Yeah, but I mean, though, it's okay. I was raised by a village. So I wasn't placed in a situation where the pressure was all up on one person for me to be the person that I need to be. It took a combination of people to lay hands on me. It took a combination of people, because sure, I love my father, but I can't sit here and say every strong suit is my daddy lane.
True.
So therefore, wherever my daddy lacked that, I was able to probably get from an uncle. I was able to get from a coach. I was able to get from a teacher. It was probably somebody that I was able to look up to give me something in somewhere that I was weak and wasn't getting. So, I mean, so I don't feel the pressure of being a dad as if I need to be this great role model. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I want to make sure that, you know, what I was able to get from my father, I greatly appreciate it. And at times I definitely feel like it saved my life. So as a father figure, I want to make sure that I'm able to give my kids something that they can take with them and prep them for life, that when it comes to those moments, you know what, my daddy shared stories with me. My dad talked to me. My daddy gave me some game on this that they can make a sound decision on. And if they don't get it and they make a mistake, I want to be there for them. I want to be there like I told you so. I want to be there to really pick them up. I want to get them a place to where they can come to, and I don't have to just be in their head like you just don't get it, right? You can come here and you can recover, and it ain't gonna be thrown in your face each time. I realize at times in life, it seems like some people are able to only love to the extent that they was loved.
True.
And that's the extent that I was loved. So I'm able to, I feel like, put that in my kids.
True.
What was given to me.
Because that's very important, because as we go into fatherhood, like I said, out of all my years of growing up, I can probably remember not one time my daddy telling me he was proud of me, that he loved me. Now to everybody else now, he would tell the world how proud he was and things of that matter. So I think in the very similarity we're saying about our parents, our dads only love based on the capacity of that they knew how to love.
Facts.
But we knew that they loved us. But one thing I have learned even now being an adult, I always tell my boys I love them. Every single day now, because I know that aspect of growing up not never hearing that at all. So I guess I'm hearing the same thing from you, is that we have learned to understand that people can love on to capacity, but we have to go beyond that when it comes to having our own children, being in different relationships, things that matter, that we have to be in that mindset too, that, hey, we have to do better because we know better. Is that what you're saying? And
because at the end of the day, what other people lack, right, I can't hold it against them, right? We able to recognize something and we want to do different. So when it came to my kids, I remember one time I was an adult when my father told me he loved me. But I also remember when I was an adult, when I put emphasis on like, I love you, he was like, boy, go play with me. You know what I'm saying? But you know what's crazy though? Like some of those, I say things that my daddy like faced, right? And like now, you see things come full circle. You know what I'm saying? You able to have them tough conversation with. Like it's some stuff that, you know, that I probably seen that he like, dang man, I hate you seeing that. But I'm able to see things come around full circle, and I'm like, man, that right there, what you was battling, you on top of that now.
True.
You know what I'm saying? That's awesome to me. Every time I tell him I love him now, he ain't hesitating.
True.
But one thing he has taught me though is, you know, I bring my kids over. You know what I'm saying? My daddy still don't travel much. He didn't travel in our game. He don't travel much now. And I bring the boys there. And I'm like, boy, that's your granddaddy telling you love him. He be like, no. I'm like, no. But you like tell him you love him. And my daddy told me, he said, man, the world gonna be trying to force you as it is. He said, do not force your kids to love. You know what I'm saying? Like,
good statement.
You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of one of them things. It's like, you know, sometimes, you know, people get energy from people. If they get a good energy, they'll rock with you. If they got this intuition in them that no, I don't want to speak. It's something about you. Then I got a lot of them to trust that. And when they ready to speak, and when they ready to tell you they love you, then when they ready to I let them come into their own.
Cool. So that's interesting. You understand? You're saying you're gonna let your children grow into being who they are and being free and things of that matter. So that's pretty cool. When you think about your life, though, give me 10 years from now where you see yourself at, where you see yourself doing.
10 years from now.
10 years from now, where does Sherrod Martin see himself doing? What does he see himself from a vision standpoint, a long-term standpoint?
10 years from now, that means I'll be about 49. I'll be about to turn 49 10 years from now. I think that looks dope. I think 49 can look dope. I think I got this thing in me that gray hair don't bother me. I want it to come in. Get old don't bother me. But it's all about
you said that now till you start getting all
I
over.
got a couple, but I wanted to come in. But it's all about, like, to me, like how you carry yourself, right? An old man to me don't mean you gotta wear open toe sandals. You gotta wear the linen suits at the grill. You know what I'm saying? You can do it your own way, right? I'm confident in, like, looking my age and doing what I want to do, and not that I'm trying to keep up with the young man game. You know what I'm saying? So it just look different. So from an age while, I think it looks dope. That means my kids will be 10 years old. That means I have a 17-year-old, I have a 14-year-old, and a 13-year-old. That means we getting in the prime of business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I want you to get on the entrepreneurial standpoint. Where do you see yourself done 10 years from now from an entrepreneurial standpoint?
I want things ran. I want things to be set in order, because in those stages, you know what I'm saying, like, I want to have my thumbprint on my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to know, like yeah, I had my hand on them, and I continue to shape and mold them. And 17, 14, and 13 is just as precious as, you know what I'm saying, 7, 4,
that's a whole other world.
7, 4, and 3. So, like I say, man, I want to be there for them. I want to be that it factor for them. I ain't gonna have everything figured out, you know what I'm saying, and they ain't gonna have everything figured out. I just don't want them to step in the same wet spot that I slipped in. And if I can do that, I think it'll be a win.
So when you think about it, though, and a lot of things you're doing, from, you know, a lot of sponsorship things that matter, what do you see yourself doing long term to bring that more attention to that, from the aspect of sponsorships, getting deals, things that matter? How can you take what you're doing now to a whole nother level?
It multiplies. It trickles down into the kids. Right now, I'm not in college, but I'm following along the same line of name, image, and likeness. Right? Dion is the older guy that's walking in name, image, and likeness. True. And he able to show the blueprint, not only talking but walking, for his youth, for his kids, for his players. This is what it looks like. This how you carry yourself. This how you make it work. Your name is a brand. That's your first business. True. And I want to be able to replicate what I'm doing. Showing my kid, they don't have to be no barber. They don't have to work with, you know, razors or whatever that works for me, but allowing them to find their own lane and maneuver their way through it. Okay.
So last question I got for you before we get out the podcast today. What is some wisdom you got for that undersized guy there who really think that, you know, he's not that talented? You know, he's not the best player on the team. He may not even be the best guy in the class who can draw a stick figure. What words of encouragement you got for that boy out there right now? Or even that girl or anybody who's in that position right now where they feel like they're underdog?
Facts. Number one, I'm going to say, you know, in no certain order, but number one, effort, right? You can't coach effort, right? Effort ain't got nothing to do with how big or small you are. You know what I'm saying? Get in the habit of putting your all into it. You know what I'm saying? Leave it all out there. If you get in the habit of leaving it all out there in the field, I think it'll be a domino effect in the other things that you do in your life. You create a habit for yourself or of leaving it all out there. Man, effort, leaving it all out there. I'll fall up on the boat, man. Just doing the best you can. True. Your best is good enough. They say if you measure yourself up against someone else, you allow them to be the standard. So, you know what I'm saying? Now, it has been time that I learned some things from some people, especially while I was weak at. You know what I'm saying? You copy one person, they say you're a copycat. You copy multiple, they say you're original. Look, be the best you can be. Know your strength, know your weakness, and fall in love with the process. Trust the process. Believe in yourself, and I'll say anything is possible outside of that.
Cool, man. Thank you for being on the podcast, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me, man.
I just want to say I'm proud of you, man, all the great things you've done. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for not stepping outside of your boundaries or trying to be something that you're not. And I always appreciate it about you, man, that I even begin to think about this morning. I said, one thing that I always will remember about Sherrod, no matter what, is that I was about to use another word, but it's smile. I was about to use another word, but I got to realize it's going to be all over the place. I can't use that word because I know people that use that word against me one day. But one thing I always will remember about Sherrod, man, is his smile, man. He always has that smile. He always had that smile on his face. Even when you walked up to him in the first time, I said, dude, what this dude smiling at me for, man? Before I even got a chance to do what he was. But that has always been who you are. So thank you for always being who you are, man. Thank you for allowing me into this space of yours that you created that is so unique and so dope. That, you know, we have an opportunity to come in and see how you really impacted people's lives. Thank you for being a great father. More than anything, thank you for being a model for a lot of guys who are coming up behind you, and also for being there in the process of it and a lot of more things I see you doing beyond this and things that matter. So I always know, man, I love you. I'm proud of you. And, you know, it's just the beginning of all the great things you're going to do.
Ooh, well, man, look, man, I appreciate it. You was definitely one of my OGs when I came into school, upperclassmen that took me up on your wings, and you always spoke life into me. And I don't know, like the teachers say, eagles fly high. So you always spoke life into me. You spoke life into me like, oh man, I cut your hair in college. You're gonna be some one day. You know what I'm saying? I let you cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? And you know, everything just continue to grow, man. I will say this, man. As much as people lives you think that I impacted, I tell you what, man, they have impacted me at times more than they think, you know what I'm saying, I have of them. And it has been greatly appreciated and beneficial in both ways. So I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. I know you ain't gonna have anybody on here. And you know what I'm saying, you know, if Henry rocking with you, you know what I'm saying, it's definitely in a positive light. He ain't gonna attach his name to no BS. So I appreciate you putting that certified stamp.
Cool, man. Thank you everybody for listening to the podcast today. Always remember, man, subscribe. Post, like, share this podcast. You know, it's really inspired you to really do something in your life. Also, be understanding we're found on all platforms and things that matter. So, see you guys next time at 4116 West Somali Podcast, man. Y'all have a good day.